You know that feeling when your phone stays silent for hours? Days even? While everyone else seems to be drowning in group chats and weekend plans, you're sitting there wondering if something's wrong with you. I had a moment like that 3 years ago. Saturday night. My college roommate was getting ready for his third party that week. His phone kept buzzing, texts, calls, Instagram notifications. Meanwhile mine? Nothing. Not a single message. And I remember thinking, what the hell is wrong with me? But here's where it gets interesting. Because what I discovered that night changed everything. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why your quiet life might be the biggest advantage you never knew you had. Let me take you back further. There's this guy, right? Albert Einstein. Probably heard of him. Genius physicist. Changed how we understand the universe. But here's what most people don't know about him. He was terrible at keeping friends. He admitted it himself. Said he needed the silence. Needed to be alone to think. Because all that noise, all those social obligations, they killed his ability to see clearly. And way before Einstein, there were these ancient philosophers called the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who could have had anyone he wanted at his side, wrote in his private journal that true peace comes from being comfortable with yourself. Epictetus, another Stoic teacher, told his students something brutal. Guard who you let close, because the wrong people will destroy your character faster than you can rebuild it. That hit me hard when I first read it, because I'd spent years thinking I was the problem. Turns out maybe I was just different. So let me tell you about Jake. Jake was the guy everyone loved in high school. Had a crew of about 15 people he rolled with everywhere. Parties, lunches, road trips, Jake was always surrounded. And I envied him. I really did. Because my weekends? Usually just me, a book, and way too much time in my own head. Fast forward 10 years. I ran into Jake at a coffee shop. We caught up. And you know what he told me? He said, "Man, I don't actually know any of those people anymore. Like, we had fun and all, but it was all surface level. I don't think any of them actually knew me." And that's when it clicked. See, here's the first thing about having few or no friends. Depth doesn't survive in shallow water. Think about it like this. You ever try to have a real conversation with someone who only wants to talk about Netflix shows or office gossip? It's exhausting, right? Your thoughts go deeper. You want to talk about purpose, meaning, why we do what we do. But their eyes glaze over. They change the subject. Make a joke to lighten things up. That mismatch? It's not your fault. You're just operating at a different frequency. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. If you're thinking deep, intentional thoughts, you're not going to fit in with people who live entirely on the surface. And honestly, that's not a bug. That's a feature. Most people connect fast because their friendships don't demand anything. Just vibes. Just laughs. Just easy. But if you need honesty, real loyalty, actual depth, you're not going to bond with just anyone. You can't. And that's not weakness, that's rarity. But it gets better. Because here's the second thing. Remember how I said I spent a lot of time alone? At first I hated it. Felt like punishment. Like I was missing out on some essential human experience. But then something weird happened. I got comfortable with myself. Like, genuinely comfortable. I could sit in silence and not feel like I was drowning. I could spend a whole day by myself and not once feel like something was missing. And that freaked people out a little. They'd ask, "Don't you get lonely?" Not really, I'd say. Because I learned something the Stoics knew thousands of years ago. Solitude is where you build self-mastery. Epictetus told his students, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." Translation? The path of growth looks weird to other people. When you choose to be alone instead of surrounding yourself with empty company, some folks will call you antisocial. Weird. A loner. But what you're actually doing, you're training your mind. You're learning to anchor your peace within yourself instead of depending on other people to give it to you. Imagine two people. One needs constant noise, constant validation, constant distraction to feel okay. The other can stand in complete silence and feel whole. Which one is actually free? Solitude isn't punishment. It's practice. It's the gym for your inner strength. Now, I'm not saying you should become a hermit. I'm not saying friendships don't matter. But here's where most people get it backwards. They think more friends equals more fulfillment. But that's like thinking more food equals better nutrition. You can eat 5 meals a day and still be malnourished if you're eating garbage. Picture this. One table has 20 people. Loud laughter. Surface-level jokes. Conversations that evaporate the moment everyone leaves. Another table has just one person. But every word you exchange feels real. Every silence is comfortable. Every moment actually matters. Which table would you choose? Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, said it perfectly. Associate with people who will make a better person of you. Welcome those you can make better. Friendship isn't about quantity. It's about nourishment. One genuine companion brings more light than 100 acquaintances who don't really know you. So if your life looks quiet right now, if your phone doesn't blow up, don't see that as failure. See it as filtration. You're refusing to waste your energy on connections that have no roots. You're protecting yourself from the exhaustion of maintaining relationships that don't feed your soul. And here's the final piece. The part that took me the longest to accept. 3 years after that lonely Saturday night, I met Sarah. We were at a bookstore, of all places, and started talking about philosophy. Just casual at first. But then the conversation went deeper. And deeper. And by the end, I thought, I've known this person for 2 hours and it feels like I've known her for years. That's when I understood. The right people show up in the right season. Nature doesn't rush. Flowers don't bloom in winter. Fruit doesn't ripen overnight. Yet we expect friendships to materialize instantly, like we can just order them on Amazon. The Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius understood you can't control who enters or leaves your life. You can't force people to get you, value you, or stick around. But you can stay authentic. You can keep your standards clear. And when you do that, you become a beacon. The right people will see that light. Maybe not today. Maybe not this month. But eventually, those who share your depth will find you. Because depth recognizes depth. But here's the catch. If you dim your light just to fit in with the crowd, the people who could actually appreciate you might never see you at all. You'll blend in so well with the shallow waters that those searching for depth will swim right past you. So what does having no friends really mean? It means you have standards. It means you'd rather walk alone than follow a crowd running toward nothing. It means you know the value of your own company. And that's not weakness. That's power. Next time loneliness stings, remember Einstein choosing silence over social noise. Remember Marcus Aurelius finding peace within himself. Remember Seneca's warning that crowds are usually lost. Remember Epictetus calling you to master yourself first. And most importantly, remember this. Great souls are rarely understood immediately. Depth attracts depth, but slowly. In the meantime, use this season. Build yourself. Strengthen your body. Expand your mind. Feed your spirit. Let solitude become the forge where your resilience gets hammered into shape. Because when the right people finally show up, they won't be rescuing you from loneliness. They'll be joining you in your fullness. They won't ask you to shrink or compromise. They'll recognize your depth because they carry their own. And those bonds, rare, real, unshakable, are worth infinitely more than 1,000 shallow names in your contacts. The lack of friends in your life isn't proof you're unworthy. It's proof you refuse to settle. It's proof your light is too strong to hide in shallow crowds. It's proof you'd rather have peace alone than chaos in company. So keep walking your path. Don't chase what doesn't feed you. Don't confuse being surrounded with being fulfilled. And never forget, standing alone with truth beats sitting in a crowd built on lies. Every single time.